You ready, David?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alex? Yep. Ready? Okay, the time is approximately 6:04 p.m., February 27th, 2025. Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting will now begin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and online. I want to thank you for your presence at tonight's Board of Mayor and Aldermen meeting. My name is Ronald Williams, the fourth elected mayor of town of Farragut. We appreciate that each of you has taken your time of your busy schedules to either attend or view tonight's meeting to see how our town government works. All Farragut Board of Mayor and Aldermen meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. All board meetings and minutes are taken and are available at a later date. Each meeting will be recorded and can be viewed at a later date on YouTube. If you are in attendance, you should be able to pick up a copy of tonight's agenda at the door when you came in. If you're not able to attend tonight and you're viewing from home, the agenda is available online at our website. For those in attendance that would like to speak, please pick up a blue card at the door and write your name and the agenda number that you wish to comment on. There will also be time reserved near the end of the meeting for citizens' comments on non-agenda subjects, which will also require that you fill out a blue card with citizen comments at the time you wish to speak and to drop that off with the town recorder. On each agenda item, the mayor will ask the town recorder for the residents' input. During this time, any Farragut resident wishing to speak at the board on that specific agenda item may do so for up to 3 minutes. After being recognized by the mayor, please go to the podium and to be heard and viewed by all. To conduct efficient business-like meetings, the town has adopted rules for how its meetings will be conducted. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meeting moving, assure that all points of view are heard and considered, and to provide common courtesy to everyone. We ask that you observe the established meeting rules when addressing the board. At the beginning of your presentation, please state your name and address for the record. We ask that you address all your questions to the mayor or in his absence, the vice mayor. Do not direct questions to the aldermen or staff members, but if necessary, the mayor may call on those to answer your questions. Once you've given your input, please return to your seat so we can continue. We ask that every speaker avoid the use of improper language, profanity, or other inappropriate conduct, and address issues, not individuals or personalities. Speakers should strive to avoid redundancy and should have their own original viewpoints. We also ask that you stay on topic. Meeting call to order. We'll start tonight's meeting with a roll call by the town recorder for a quorum.
Alderman Burnett.
Here.
Alderman Kane.
Here.
Alderman White.
Here.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams is here. Thank you, Allison. We do have a quorum. Now please join me by standing for a silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag, led tonight by Alderman White.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Alderman White. Okay, do we have any agenda amendments?
No, sir.
None. In that case, I'll need a motion, please.
Approve. Second.
Okay, if in favor of approval, please say yes.
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 Any noes? Let the record show that February 27th, 2025 agenda has been approved as posted. Do we have any amendments to the minutes?
No, sir.
None?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Noes? February 13th, 2025 minutes have been approved as stated. Mayor's report. I want to thank the members of the Planning Commission on approval of the site plan for Mayor Bob pickleball courts. We want to see this project completed as soon as possible. Also, the board, Mayor and Alderman, will be joining our town administrator at the TML conference in Nashville next Monday and Tuesday to visit with our state legislators. Okay, next, if you've got if you could queue up what we're fixing to have here is it's a update on the interstate project that was given to us yesterday by the TPO. at the TPO meeting by the TDOT staff. And we've got 17 slides to go over, and it will be pretty quick because some of them are just visual. And to start off with, the study has challenges, and we were looking at different keys to the success of developing different concepts for the congestion relief and also for safety improvements and for drainage. That we were there to analyze the influence of truck volumes that come through that area and how it affects the weigh station. The truck volume through Knoxville is about 20% trucks, which is a lot higher than most areas. Most areas are somewhere in the 10 to 12% range. The partnerships on this is the Knoxville TPO, the cities, the counties, the railroad, and all the utilities. And the utilities are up there, they're listed. One of the things that we're looking at was and able to assess is the potential environmental impacts, mainly some of the failing drainage that we have all across a 17-mile stretch that goes from the split all the way up to 640. We will have a lot of public participation in this process so that we can understand what everyone feels is the best way to go. And if you look at the screen up there, you'll see what Campbell Station looked like a number of years ago and what it looks like now. And then you'll also see what Cedar Bluff looked like, which is very similar to Campbell Station at the time, and what it looks like now. Also, you'll see what the I-40 at Walker Springs looked like and how it's changed drastically to what we've got now, and then the same thing at Paper Mill. All these areas are areas that have drainage failure. If you look at the priority projects and the timeline, it started back in April of 2024, and when we had actually a meeting out at the westbound weigh station to listen to what was going to be on the project, and the TDOT director was there to give that particular presentation. As it moved on through June, they advertised for consultants. We had pre-meetings with the firms to see how they would play into the project. We received proposals, and they were interviewed, and the consultant selection committee chose the partners that would be involved. And then as we moved into September, there was kickoff with the various partners that will be involved on this project. And then on into October, we started drafting the scoping documents. And then finally in November, there was the final documents that were reviewed. And then we looked at the actual dollars. As we moved on, the priority investment project was phase 1 objectives. You'll see those up there. Wait just a minute. Yeah. And then we moved on to what the study team would be looking at. The initial study up there was a section that's a pretty big section, and it has a lot of drainage through there, but the road projects are right mainly from the split to 640. During that time, they did 181 total traffic counts, and those counts were 8-day counts in a 48-hour bidirectional and ramp counts, and 48-hour turning movement counts that was, all that data was put in. We had the environmental data collection. It was, if you look at the GIS mapping, the central data and area included multiple sources and agencies of socioeconomic, natural environment, public lands, transportation infrastructure, utilities, and current and what was in progress, and then, of course, the KGIS. The desktop survey of the environmental features and the purpose of need statement was drawn up. And the main safety area of concerns, we had what we call crash hotspots. And when you look at Region 1, which is our region here in the Knoxville area, 9 of the top 20 within this were in the project limits, and the top 6 were within what will show up there. Our area ranked, which is Watt Road, Campbell Station, ranked 5th in the state. This was statewide, and the incidents in our quarter contribute to 41% of the congestion that we have in our area. And of course, they show the hot spots there of where I-40 and 640, where they come together, was the number 1. Number 2 was actually Campbell Station, and number 3 was Lovell Road. So it's right in our backyard where this is at. The solutions of consideration of the existing corridor, the various interchange, whether it be optimized or redesigned. They looked at truck lanes. We looked at the way station solutions, and also an I-75 alternate. And what I mean by that is what would be considered a bypass. The I-40, I-75 main line which is what we've got through there now. We looked at the what they call general purpose lanes, and then we looked at also choice lanes. The alternate alignment, which would be separation of I-40 and I-75, which would, all this will be on the table to be looked at. Also, what will be looked at will be the way stations. They are a big part of the congestion. They're looking at closing those and moving them with a separate one on I-75 and a separate one on I-40. When you look at the choice lanes, there are, you'll see how that's laid out, and what was the picture after that, or was previous to that, was some of the choice lanes like what you see in Georgia, Florida, and Virginia. This is something that's pretty common everywhere but here. Okay, next would be the key milestones for phase 1, which would be the planning and the environmental linkages, and you'll see the different months that we'll be working on different part of the project, and which we've already given the purpose and need statement, which happened yesterday. But you'll also see a public meeting. I think the first one will be April 17th, be downtown, and then the next one will be sometime, I would say, in October. But in the middle of that, you'll see a lot of the evaluation and design alternates that will be submitted to TDOT through their partners, and then will be reviewed by the TPO. So, folks, that's what I've got tonight. Any questions by the board members?
Do they have any estimation of commence construction, Mayor?
No, not really, because right now it's kind of a deal where you're looking at all the different possible alternatives, and then that will be given to us to be reviewed. Well, first it will go to the technical committee, which is Darrell and his group, and then you'll have 2 different public input sessions where the public can be involved in their opinion of all the different options that will be on the table.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Is there a desired completion date?
Well, I guess one of the big things that you'll see come out of this is this is a $132 million study, and it's looking at a lot of different alternative measures. And so to say there is a date until you know more of or we know more of what it's going to be, then it's really hard to say when you could say. The big thing will probably be how it's funded,
Okay.
because it will be probably funded in phases if we know how they, if you look at the choke point here in our backyard, it's where 4 lanes go down to 3. And, you know, who would have ever thought that they would have done that right there? But they did, and it was done in a phase. So this is, I guess, the next phase. So, okay. Well, let's see here. We'll move on to ordinances, unless someone else, Vice Mayor, any other alderman have anything? If not, then we'll start with ordinance number 25-03, an ordinance on the second reading to amend the fiscal year 2024-2025 general fund, capital investment program, and ADA capital project funds.
Yes, sir. There have been no changes since the first reading. The general fund will be amended by increasing the transfer to the capital investment fund by $250,000. Capital investment program that transfers in from the general fund will be an increase of $250,000, an increase of expenditures of $250,000 for the audiovisual project at Town Hall. And the ADA capital projects fund will be increased by $150,000 for the paving and repair project at Mayor Bob Leonard Park. The motion is to approve ordinance 2503 on second and final reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any resident comments?
No, sir.
None? Okay. Alderman White?
No.
Alderman Kane?
None.
Alderman Burnett?
No questions.
Vice Mayor?
Pass.
I have nothing as well. With discussion closed, I'll ask the town recorder for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Alderman Kane.
Yes.
Alderman White.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show ordinance 25-03 has been approved on the second reading by a roll call vote, February 27th, 2025, approximately 6:21 p.m. Next will be ordinance 2504, an ordinance on the second reading to amend the Farragut Municipal Code, Chapter 2, Administration, Article 6, Finance Section 2-299, to replace the existing section in its entirety with a new ordinance.
Yes, sir. This ordinance will be setting the requirements for 3 written quotations for purchases between $10,000 and $25,000. Our current bidding threshold is $25,000 and up. So this just establishes that 10 to 25 for 3 written quotes. And the motion is to approve ordinance 2504 on second and final reading.
Move approve.
Second.
Okay. Do we have any resident comments
No,
on this?
sir.
We do not? Okay. Discussion, Alderman White,
None, thank you.
Alderman Kane,
None.
Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Vice Mayor.
Pass.
I have nothing as well. With discussion closed, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Alderman Kane.
Yes.
Alderman White.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show ordinance 24-19 has been approved on the first reading by roll call vote, February 27th, 2025 at 6:22 p.m. The resolutions, it looks like we have 2 to review and consider for approval.
First reading.
Actually, I got a first reading. It's 2419.
Sorry. Okay, on ordinance 2419, on the first reading to amend the text of Farragut zoning ordinance, ordinance 8616, as amended pursuant to authority granted by section 13-4-201, Tennessee Code annotated by amending the Farragut Municipal Code, Appendix A, zoning, Chapter 3, Section 3, Rural Single Family Residential District R1, subsection B, dwelling unit under certain conditions. I'm Mark Shipley. This actually
Mark.
came to you all.
I don't think your mic's on.
Check
the
the
mic
mic.
And make sure it's on.
There we go.
Okay, we'll start over. I'm Mark Shipley. I'll present this ordinance to you all. This was originally presented to the board at the December 12th meeting. And it involves the option to have a second dwelling unit in the rural single-family residential zoning district, subject to a number of criteria. And those criteria, just to kind of refresh your memory, it would only apply to lots that are lots of record, existing lots that are at least an acre and a half. There are lots that could not be further subdivided, and we kind of roughly determined that would limit this to about around 25 lots in the entire town. So it's not a lot of properties that we're talking about. The second dwelling unit would have to meet the setbacks for the same setbacks as the existing dwelling unit. The second dwelling unit would have to be situated so it's at least 40 feet from the existing dwelling unit, and the 40 feet is the required combined side yard setback in R1, so that's where that comes from. The other conditions were that the second dwelling unit could not create an additional access to a public street, so they would have to share the access. The second dwelling unit would have to satisfy the applicable utility code and fire suppression requirements. And in the original ordinance that was presented to you all in December, both the existing dwelling unit and the second dwelling unit were to be served with sanitary sewer and water provided by a public utility. At that time, the applicant asked the board to consider that particular provision only applying to the second dwelling unit, so that only the second dwelling unit would have to be on sanitary sewer. So the board at the time, you all seemed to be fairly open to that. The staff did indicate that we felt like that needed to go back to the Planning Commission because they did specifically talk about utilities for both units. So the staff did take this back to the Planning Commission at the January 16th meeting, and the Planning Commissioners unanimously supported the applicant's request, and the amended language is included in the ordinance that's before you in 24-19. The staff recommends approval of the amended ordinance 24-19 on first reading. This particular provision does advance one of the strategies in our comprehensive land use plan of encouraging greater housing choice. So we feel like it's a good option that has not been provided for up until this point. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer those.
Move we approve.
Second.
Any resident comments?
No, sir.
None, okay. Discussion, Alderman White,
No, sir.
Alderman Kane.
I'd just like to tell the staff and the planning commission, we appreciate this because I know it's going to help, Mr. Butler and the family as they move forward, and we do appreciate this.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Vice Mayor.
Pass.
I have nothing. With discussion closed, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Alderman Kane.
Yes.
Alderman White.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show the ordinance 24-19 has been approved on the first reading by roll call vote, February 27, 2025, approximately 6:27 p.m. Now we'll get to resolutions. Looks like we have two to review and consider for approval. Approval of Resolution R 2025-4, a resolution adopting the FY 25-26 Town of Farragut Strategic Plan.
Mayor, we go through each and every year adopting and updating our strategic plan. And so this year, we met with the board back on January 24th, 2025 to look at the current strategic plan, which helps identify our vision, our mission and values as an organization, and also really prioritizes all of our projects and policies that we do. We call those our critical success factors throughout the town. Those are our goals that we work on each and every year. Each department submitted several priorities that we thought were important to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for their consideration and discussion. And then obviously the board talked about those, and that's why we're here tonight, is to prioritize those for our FY 25-26 fiscal year. So With our vision statement, it is who we are as a community. And so that's Farragut setting the standard for quality of life with a beautiful, close-knit, connected community where individuals, families, and businesses thrive. The town's mission and values as an organization are also defined as an appealing and engaged community set apart by a dedicated team committed to integrity, adaptability, and friendly service. And those 5 critical success factors that I talked about earlier are connecting our community with excellent parks, greenways, trails, sidewalks, and recreation programs, enhancing the town's financial position, collaborating at a local, state, and federal level, supporting and caring for our team, and advancing a high-quality and well-maintained community. So by us focusing on these key areas, the town's goal is to enhance the quality of life for our residents, position ourselves to have long-term stability with the ability to invest in essential community services, foster strategic partnerships and effective governance, enhance workplace culture and service delivery, and ensure a safe, attractive, and welcoming community. So before you is Resolution R-2025-04, which would adopt these priorities for the upcoming fiscal year, which we also work towards in adopting our budget. That's where we're in the process of reviewing and going towards right now. So with that, we would recommend approval of Resolution R-2025-04, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, David. I would need a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
President comment?
Yes, I have 2 speakers. Our first one is Kim Parks.
Okay, Ms. Parks? Should be turned on. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
You got
All
it.
right. Just so you guys know, there is no audio on your guys' YouTube channel right now. But so so this resolution, you guys did a strategic planning session, which in my opinion was not properly noticed. It wasn't in the paper or any of that. And so that being said, I do know that there's more to the strategic plan than 2 pieces of paper. And I would like to see the entire thing and not just the 2 pieces of paper being a citizen. It should be readily available on your website and not me having to jump through hoops to try to get it. So I would love it if you guys, I don't have a problem with you guys doing a resolution on this, but it should be there in its entirety if you're going to. Thank you.
Our second speaker is Louise Poblin.
Thank you, Mayor Williams. In bullet point 1, under enhancing the town's financial position, please consider replacing the language with something more specific that assigns economic development duties to a staff member. The bullet point could read something along the lines of, assign economic development responsibilities to a staff member who will assist in recruiting sales tax producing businesses, serve as a business liaison, oversee agreements with economic development partners, and any other economic development initiatives. This language leaves open the possibility for the town administrator to rework or expand an existing staff member's duties. The town has been very conservative in adding staff, only adding additional staff when it can be demonstrated that additional staff is indeed necessary. During previous budget seasons, the organization of departments and duties have been reviewed, and this is an opportunity to make adjustments and consider whether a reorganization or reassignment of duties would be all that it is necessary to cover economic development responsibilities. Either way, whether you create a new position or rework the duties of existing staff, without a person on staff dedicated to economic development, important initiatives such as a small business liaison are falling through the cracks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's all of our speakers.
Excuse me?
That's all of our speakers.
Okay. Alderman White, I think you wanted to speak first.
No, I was going to give my copy of what she asked for to the lady. Said she only had one sheet.
Oh, okay, I didn't understand what you meant.
Sorry.
Okay, then, discussion, and we'll call on you first then.
None.
None, okay. Vice Mayor.
Pass.
Alderman Kane.
Per our discussion during the workshop, here on the front page of the strategic plan, we have that Turkey Creek Road and Greenway and the Sonia Drive listed in there. I think after our discussion we need to maybe remove that at least temporarily until we move forward, especially the Turkey Creek one, considering the legal issues.
Okay. Alderman Burnett.
No, I mean, the only thing I'll add, and we talked about this, I guess, maybe at the retreat or maybe at the last budget workshop, is in terms of economic development that Louise just brought up. You know, this was something I was working with somebody who kind of had this under their wing, and Trevor, and making sure that we were working with local businesses that were coming in, building a new business or moving into an existing space, and just making sure we got with those business owners after they had moved in. How can we be more business friendly? You know, that small business liaison from the town to the small business, I think, is a pretty important role. And with that person gone, I do think it would be really nice to have a person that fell directly under. So, yeah, that's my only addition.
Okay. Thank you. I agree with economic development. Trevor had many duties, and that was one of them. I think possibly we may have a staff member that could possibly do this part of the time and maybe do something else part of the time. So I think that we probably should look into that as well. Let's see here. Also, David, would you like to address Ms. Parks's comment?
Well, we have working papers. I think Alderman White may have been talking about that, providing those. Those are happy to do that. These are the summary of the priorities. These are the things that the board said are our priorities. There are many things that we talk about in those workshops that don't come up to the top, don't make the priority list. And so that's what is before you tonight. The meeting was properly noticed. I think we had several people there from the community that attended it. And so it was properly noticed. And if you have any amendments that you'd like to make to the plan, we've had a couple of discussions about some things. We just need to have an amended motion to either delete or add to the strategic plan, the kind of the wording you'd like to add there, or the initiatives that you'd like to add, and we can add those wording for you.
Okay. Well, we had a motion by the vice mayor that was seconded by Alderman White.
Yes.
Okay, have you got any amendments to your motion?
I do not.
Okay.
And I amend my second.
Okay.
Am I allowed to amend the second?
If he amends a second, I'll amend mine. That's fine. What do you want to amend?
I would, based on what Alderman Kane has talked about in
About Turkey Creek?
about the
Okay.
Turkey Creek,
Okay.
and what Alderman, what the vice mayor was talking about at Concord, at Campbell Station Road and Kingston Pike. They felt like that those numbers should be removed. And at this time, I'll make a motion to remove those two from the budget.
Okay, so Vice Mayor, you want to retract your motion and go with Alderman White's
I'll
motion?
retract it.
Okay.
Mayor,
You
can
want
I-
to second his?
We're not on the budget.
Can I clarify that just real quick? This isn't the budget, so this is the strategic plan. I just want to make sure
Strategic
we're
plan.
clear. But the two projects, I think, that Alderman Kane mentioned were the taking out, would be deleting, improving Turkey Creek Road and Greenway, and then improving Sonia Admiral Drive sidewalk. Are those the two that you'd like to delete?
Those are the two, yes, based on
Yes.
our discussion during the.
Okay, so that would be Alderman White's
And
amended
then the
motion.
vice mayor's,
I'll amend it. I'll amend it to take those two out.
Okay, understood.
so
Okay,
I'd like to make that motion.
then you'll second his.
Yes.
Okay.
So do I need to make another motion then? Or did?
He wants to speak on this.
Have you got the amended motion?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Have you,
I have the amended motion as just deleting those two items. That would be the only amended motion at this time.
Okay.
I have it moved by Alderman Meyer, or Vice Mayor Meyer, and seconded by Alderman White.
okay,
Okay.
Mayor, we had somebody that wanted to discuss this any further. I don't know if you're willing to open back up for discussion or not. You're right at the motion and the second and then vote.
yep, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I thought I was going to address this in the next one, capital improvement. So I guess I'm out of order on my thinking. So I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Steve Williams, 721 Virtue Road. And I have the same issue that we have over on Turkey Creek Road in that the way the preliminary plans are drawn, the greenway would be coming on my property. And I object, and you're going to have the same lawsuit effect that you currently have on Turkey Creek Road. So I would like to either sit down with the town and resolve it, which to me doesn't seem to be, I've been pushed off every time. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but you can't put the greenway on my property by state law. Therefore, until the lawsuit's settled, we'll have to file suit, which is going to waste my money and your money, the town's money. It makes no sense. So it would make sense for us to sit down and work it out. It's not that hard. But I object to that as well over on my property at 721, a couple thousand feet or 1,500 feet on Virtue Road. It's a simple fix. If I could just get somebody to talk to me and say, hey, what do you think, Steve? I think we could do this. I have a red barn down there. It's a historic barn. And the way it's drawn now, the barn has to be torn down. Makes no sense to me to tear a red barn down on Virtue Road. So I'd hate to see this get too far down the road to where we can't do it. We end up in a lawsuit, the road doesn't get built, everything's in a mess, makes no sense. So I'm just asking, let's pull it off the strategic plan, let's work it out, be neighbors and friends, and not get in a lawsuit and waste everybody's money. That's it.
That's all you got? Okay. Well, I guess the easy thing to say is that's something that can be discussed and because there's really nothing in concrete.
Okay, I don't know that.
You know,
I've not
it's,
seen anything.
At this moment, it's part of the strategic plan to go ahead with a road improvement. Now, when you look at that road improvement and you look at Virtue, you look at the section where we stopped.
Yes.
Okay? Well, where we stopped was, we took care of drainage and a lot of things there by raising the road.
Mhm.
Well, as you go further along the road needs to be lowered. Because if you try to turn out a vista and look to the north, or out of Evans, then you have a side issue, particularly if you're coming out of Evans. You definitely have.
You're talking about the hump, right?
Yeah,
at
the
Evans.
hump.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where the road needs to be lowered.
I agree.
So there's things along that line that this don't really cover, okay? But it will whenever we get to the point to doing road design.
My concern, though, is it says it's two 11-foot lanes, curb and gutter, 6-foot piece of grass, and an 8-foot greenway. If you add that up, it doesn't fit. It comes through my barn. So why would we want to get that approved in writing? That's my concern. We get something approved in writing that's not possible unless you bulldoze the barn.
Well, at the moment, unless there's something I don't know, there's not been a design that's been done that's in concrete.
It's not in concrete, but I've seen a design. Now, it's different from this.
Yeah.
It is. It's different, but it still accomplishes the same tearing the barn down, best I can tell.
Well, whenever we get in a situation where we're doing a grant, which is what part of this will be, then things can change radically.
I just think we should be good neighbors, and we should not be approving things and moving forward with things when I've had no contact, and you and I've talked, but we don't agree. We have no design contact, the town won't talk to me. you're wanting to take my property, wanting to tear my barn down. It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm just trying to stop this from balling up to the point where you say, well, we're too far down the road, we can't change it now.
Well, we're not, so.
Oh, okay.
We're not too far down the road. It's,
Because I mean, I'd like to sit down and work it out where the road is something the community needs, but we don't need to do it in a way to hurt people, hurt us. We don't need to do Turkey Creek to hurt people. It's not necessary. I'm just saying it would be nice for the adversarial hurt people thing to go away in the town of Farragut, and that we sit down and work through things together as a community and people. That's all I'm asking.
well,
We're
that's
not
where,
doing that.
that's where design comes in, okay?
Well, you know what? I've been hearing that for years, and I've not ever spoken to anyone that reached out to me.
Well, we're not to the point yet,
Well,
Steve.
but you keep drawing plans to hurt me.
No.
It doesn't make sense.
We don't have a plan to hurt you, okay?
I've got the plan.
Well, that was just a
It's
conceptual.
preliminary.
It's conceptual.
But why would you do a preliminary plan to hurt people when it's not necessary?
Well, a lot of times the people that sit down and draw that up are not me and you, okay?
I agree.
So
But
it's,
why do we keep letting them do that? In other words, the first plan I got hurts me, this hurts me. Why are we doing this? Why don't we just say, whoa, wait a minute, let's don't hurt people in our preliminary design. Let's go talk to people and let's work out the little hurt things. That's not too much to ask from a citizen. That is not too much to ask.
well, that's what will happen when the time comes. Right now, we're really just,
It doesn't make sense to keep approving this when it hurts people
Maybe
for
it
no reason.
satisfy him, Mayor, if we took that out of the budget. I think that's what he's asking for.
well, we don't,
Why don't you,
I know it doesn't mean anything.
We're not
but it
doing the
means
budget
something
right
to
now.
him.
this is not the budget.
I know that, but it's projected we're gonna spend it, so it's important to him. Why don't we just take it out with the other things for now? You can always put it back in for that.
and it's not that I'm not willing to work with you. I'm very willing to work. But you can't come through and tear my barn down. You can't put a greenway on my property. You don't have to. It's not necessary. We can work it out. And I'm willing to sit down and, I've been a developer my whole life.
Are you
I
wanting
kinda
that
know how to
taken
do
out of
this.
the, would that satisfy you for now if we
That'd be
took that
great.
money out of the,
And I'm willing to sit down with the designers. I've thought about this a lot since I've been thinking about it. And it's a doable thing to sit down and work it out. That'd be great. Let's take it out, let's work it out, let's come back and I'll be all for it.
It's up to you, Mayor. What do you wanna do?
Well, no, I mean, David is taking two things out. That can be taken out just as well, and wait till we get to the point to where it's time to actually look at the grant process.
Right.
I mean, right now, we're not there.
Because what you're gonna spend on attorney fees is foolishness to fight me when I'm wanting to work with you, but you all would rather pay a bunch of attorneys to fight me. It makes no sense.
Well,
Why does the town want to spend that kind of money to fight with a citizen who comes and says, I've been wanting to sit down and work this out for a long time, nobody will talk to me?
Steve, it's not my call, okay?
Whose is it?
It's not my call. When we do something like when you're asking for a grant, okay, you're point A to point B. That's what you're doing. What happens in between is something that happens whenever the design comes in. Right now, we're just putting it as a placeholder for this particular, it's a plan,
I would,
point A to point B.
I would
okay?
respectfully ask you, take it out until we can come to an agreement, a rough agreement. I'm not saying an agreement in 100% writing in stone. I'm just saying, hey, guys, let's sit down and work this out. It's a simple fix. Let's don't ramrod him, because then I got an attorney up for no good reason.
Well, we're not ramrodding, okay?
Well, it feels that way.
Uh,
This has been going on for, you know that, a couple of years.
It's a
and
misconception. Again, it's a point A to point B.
Well, I understand, but I'm in the middle. I'm the guy in the middle of point A and point B.
Yeah, I know,
I just happen to be the guy caught there in the middle.
I know.
So I'm just asking, could you pull it out? Let's get together as friends, and we're all Farragut. Let's get together and work it out, and we can all work it out together and we don't have to attorney up, and we don't have to spend a bunch of money in fighting, because you're gonna have to attorney up too. It's foolishness, when all we have to do is sit down and talk about it, and come up with a solution where we don't have to do that.
Well, that's the plan we usually always have. We ask residents to be involved.
And I've been
Okay.
trying for a long time.
Well, it's
I have.
getting it to the point to where you need to be involved. See, I'm not involved. All we're doing here is actually just a really simple strategic plan. Going forward, when we get to that point, I mean, pull it out. I mean, that's fine,
Thank
but
you.
you have to
That'd be
measure.
great.
You'd have to measure.
Mayor, I just want to clarify for everybody right now. Virtue Road, this particular project, is not in the strategic plan, okay? So that's a separate budgetary item. So what you're voting on tonight, Virtue Road is nowhere in those
Okay.
as a top
We're voting on
priority,
this.
okay?
Oh, I thought I just heard
Correct.
you say that.
No, we're
It's
voting
in
on this
it's in our
document.
capital investment program budget
Well, that's what
for
I
the next
first thought,
several
but
years,
then I
right?
heard the word Virtue Road project in the strategic. If you go back
It
and.
was just a miss
Yeah, but a
discussion.
miscommunication.
Correct. And
Gets
it was,
codified.
nope, they took out the improved Turkey Creek Road and improved Sonia Drive Admiral sidewalk. That's what they took out,
You
and there
see
was
my
no Virtue
concern?
Road.
The words were put in.
But it wasn't added to the motion, so it's not part of the motion. I think we can sit down and talk to Mr. Williams about the preliminary plans that we have at this point. We are gonna have many public hearings on this project. There's gonna be plenty of discussion once we get those plans to a point where they're actually able to be discussed and see the boundary lines, things like that. So we're happy to do that and sit down with Mr. Williams and talk about those things. This project that he's referring to is a grant-funded project. As you know, these takes years and years to get done. So I would encourage the board, let's talk to Mr. Williams, let's work with Mr. Williams, let's see what we can do with the preliminary plan. If there's adjustments that can be made, I'm sure we will happy to do that. Ultimately, it's also covered under TDOT rules, and so we have to make sure we're following those whenever we do any kind of grant-funded project. So we have to do both.
So, you just said that I'm asking to be
Mr.
taken out,
Williams,
but it was
excuse
never
me, now
in.
you've had 30 minutes to talk. We've heard plenty of your explanation, but, and I'd appreciate it if you'd leave the podium.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, in that case, we do not need to amend the motion, as it is not
Somebody
covered.
needs to read it, because I've confused myself.
Okay, I think,
You want me to read that, Mayor?
you can go ahead and read it, yeah.
So the amended motion that Vice Mayor Meyer made, Alderman White seconded, was basically to adopt the strategic plan priorities for 2025, deleting though, under the connecting our community with excellent parks, greenways, trails, sidewalks, and recreation programs, the improved Turkey Creek Road and Greenway project, and also the improved Sonia Admiral Road sidewalk project.
Got it? Okay. And we have a motion and we have a second, so I'd say just go ahead and give us a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Mayor, are we going to discuss these changes that are being talked about? I mean, I sure would,
You want to discuss something?
I want to hear from
Okay.
everybody, especially the people that want these out of there. I mean, the irony of we're under connecting our community with excellent parks, greenways, trails, and sidewalks, and we want to take out greenway projects.
I think that was, isn't it just something specific that we're addressing?
No, he wanted to take out the whole thing, right?
No, we're only taking out the money for now. That's it.
Oh,
That's
there's
the
no budget.
projects, yes,
We're
the
not
whole
on the
thing.
budget.
Just taking the wording out of this document.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
we're doing right now.
Well, I told you it confused myself.
That's okay, you're fine. It's okay.
So you're saying they want to take it out of the strategic plan, this sheet of paper?
Right.
And leave the budget?
Exactly right. We don't have anything on the budget.
We're
right
not
now.
to the budget yet. We're still developing the budget.
Right.
My initial comment was to take it out of the strategic plan, especially considering we have a pending lawsuit with one of the projects. Not discussing budget or CIP. Let's take it out of the strategic plan for now, because we don't know what the outcome of that lawsuit is going to be.
It doesn't matter. Still a strategic plan of the town of Farragut to be connected by greenways and sidewalks where it makes sense, not where it comes up and sits at your front door. No, I'm sorry, I was looking at you, but I didn't mean you.
Well,
So it's still a top priority of everyone in the town of Farragut. Whenever you take a survey, that's at the top.
okay,
Like, it's
that
just
item should
always
not
at
be
the
in
top.
2025 when it's in the middle of a lawsuit.
But that's only in the budget.
I-
It's not in the strategic, what Alderman Burnett is talking about is not removing the whole wording of what's in there.
All I'm asking is remove it from the strategic plan. How do we strategically plan for a project that we're going to be sitting in court in?
Because that's still what the residents said they want for our community. Somebody is
I don't
challenging
believe
it,
so.
and it is so, so, so important to the town of Farragut to get a ruling on that, so we know. Many people think they know exactly the way it's gonna go. I feel pretty confident, but we're gonna let it go. But we've gotta know what that we have to know what that ruling is.
I agree. Let's take it out of the strategic plan until we know the ruling.
What else?
I don't know how it's going to come out. I don't know how any of us do, because based off the new state law, there's never been a challenge to it until now.
I know,
Okay?
I know.
But that's why I think we need to not have it in there until we find out what happens.
So you're asking to remove what words? Vice Mayor?
So, on page 1, in the upper left-hand corner, there's a section called Connecting Our Community with Excellent Parks, Greenways, Trails, Sidewalks, and Recreational Programs. If you count the bullets down, there's bullets 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm suggesting removing 5 and 6. Bullets 5 and 6 out of that section, based on Alderman Kane's suggestion.
Is that the motion?
Hold on. We're just in
Yes,
discussion.
that's the motion.
You're still got the floor, Alderman Burnett.
I don't think it makes any sense. They're either our strategic priorities or they're not. And if they're not, and we want to take them out, let's just change the wording up here that greenways and trails are not a priority. I think that would match removing them.
There's a motion on
I
the
still
floor,
want
Mayor.
to still,
Gosh,
He's trying to form a new motion.
No,
There's
he's
a
not.
motion.
I'm not trying
we're
to
in
form a
discussion.
motion at all. No.
you'll be next, okay? Right now, he's got the floor.
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 people going full speed ahead, so it is what it is.
Okay, Alderman White, your discussion.
Don't have any discussion. You want me to make a motion, or?
Now, we've got a motion,
we got
and
one.
we've got a
Okay.
second, okay, that we will vote on, but we have
All right.
opportunity for
No
discussion.
discussion.
Okay. Alderman Kane, I think you.
I think I've said everything.
Okay. Vice
No,
Mayor,
Another comment.
you got anything else? Okay. Then what we have to do is vote on this. Have you got how it should read?
You got
Okay,
it.
you want to repeat it then? Make sure that we're
Yes,
all
sir.
aware of what's going to be voted on?
Sure, Mayor, just to clarify, the amended motion and second is to adopt the Town of Farragut Strategic Plan and Priorities for 2025 under the section Connecting Our Community with Excellent Parks, Greenways, Trails, Sidewalks, and Recreation Programs. That is being amended to delete improve Turkey Creek Road and Greenway and delete improve Sonia Admiral Road Sidewalk. And those are the only 2 amendments that we have on the strategic plan. From that motion that was made.
Ready to vote?
Yep. Roll call.
Alderman Burnett.
Way too it's a no, but it could be different. It just takes discussion, and we've not had discussion. But for now, immediately, be impressed on it, no.
Okay. Alderman Kane.
Yes.
Alderman White.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Meyer.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, no. And the reason I say no is I don't think we need to take all the wording out. We're not to the point to where it's It's the same thing we have with Mr. Williams. It's not to the point. So mine's a no as well. Okay, let the record show that the amended motion R 2025-4 has been approved as requested. And that would be a 3-2 vote, roll call vote. Sorry. It would be 6:59 PM. Okay, approval of resolution R 2025-5, Town of Farragut Capital Assets Policy.
Yes, sir. The capital assets policy was previously approved on January 23rd of 2025. In the policy presented to the board, there were 3 clerical errors. On page 4 of the policy, in section E, there was in the second line, there's a 5,000 that should be 10,000, 3 years should be 5 years, and then another part that was 5,000, it should be 10,000 for the capitalization limit on those items. The revised language is consistent with the remainder of the policy, and the motion is to approve the revised resolution R 2025-05.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Resident comments?
No, sir.
Discussion, Alderman Kane,
None.
Vice Mayor,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett,
No questions.
Alderman White,
None.
none. I'll ask if in favor, vote by saying yes.
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 Okay, any noes? Let the record show resolution R 2025-05 has been approved as requested on February 27th at 7 p.m. Okay, next will be business items. We only have 2 to review and consider for approval. Approval of grant contract between State of Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation and Town of Farragut from the Land Water Conservation Fund for $2.75 million for the purchase of property on McPhee Road.
Evening Board, Ron Ostrike, Parks and Rec Director. As you all know, the Tennessee Department of Environmental and Conservation, TDEC, approached the town of Farragut shortly after the town purchased the 70-acre, 55 purchased and 15 donated property earmarked for recreational purposes, informing us of a potential 50% reimbursement grant for the land acquisition price through the Federal Land and Water Conservation Fund, LWCF. Throughout the spring and summer months of 2024, Parks and Rec staff worked closely with the Recreation Grants team at TDEC to complete the complicated grant application process. Step 1 was gaining approval from the LWCF grants team for a retroactive post-purchase application. The following steps included the town gaining approval from a multitude of state environmental agencies, including Fish and Wildlife, Land and Water, an archaeological land study, and an updated appraisal. In December of 2024, the town of Farragut was informed that we were awarded the LWCF land acquisition grant through TDEC for $2.75 million, 50% of our purchase price of 55 acres. This is exciting for the town and our future of recreation, as this LWCF grant preserves the 55 acres for outdoor recreation purposes. Once this contract is executed, we will submit it to TDEC to begin the reimbursement process. So I just say congratulations to all of you and all of us.
Okay. We'll need a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any resident
No, sir.
comments? None. Then discussion, Alderman White,
None.
Alderman Kane,
None.
Alderman Burnett,
Huge congratulations to y'all and to all our residents. It's awesome.
Vice Mayor.
Pass.
Yeah, I lived through this with Ron, and it was quite a feat to get it. So I'll ask if in favor, vote by saying yes.
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 Any noes? Let the record show the grant contract has been approved as requested. Next will be approval of Omni Contract 01-145, Howard Technology Solutions, for the Town Hall audiovisual design and installation.
Yes, sir. The purpose of this agenda item is to approve the Howard Technology Solutions contract for the Town Hall audio-video system. This will provide a modern and efficient boardroom, incorporate the advanced audio-visual equipment for functionality and presentation quality, and it will include the audio-visual equipment for all conference rooms and other training areas. The motion is to approve Omnia Contract 01-10145 Howard Technology Solutions for Town Hall audiovisual design and installation in the amount of $241,125.94.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, rest of the comments?
No, sir.
None? Okay. Discussion, Alderman White,
None.
Alderman Kane,
None.
Vice Mayor,
Pass.
Alderman Burnett.
No questions.
I don't have anything as well. I'll ask in favor, vote by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes, let the record show. Contract 01-145 has been approved as requested. Okay, next will be citizen comments.
I have 3 speakers tonight. The first one is Kim Parks.
Before I begin, I would like to ask the mayor or the aldermen to make a motion on their privilege to afford me 5 minutes of time.
You're out of order.
How
You've
am I
got
out
3
of,
minutes, ma'am.
I'm not out of order to ask for more time.
Clock's ticking.
Okay, all right, well, I guess you guys don't believe in the First Amendment right and having freedom of speech. We all know what happened during the workshop. The town of Farragut has spent years planning and referring to certain projects by certain names. And for example, I'm going to use Turkey Creek Greenway Extension. This is a well-documented fact that you guys used to use that term. As far back as 2010, the town's pedestrian and bicycle plan classified the Greenway as a linear park. In May of 2022, the town redefined what a greenway means, despite 2 Tennessee court rulings that a greenway is a linear park, and that linear park is for recreation. In May of 2024, when the project was submitted to the Farragut Municipal Planning Commission, it was still called Turkey Creek Greenway Extension. But today, in the CIP budget workshop, the name was suddenly changed and is now being called Turkey Creek Road Multi-Model Improvements. Why change the name? Because the town knows it cannot legally use eminent domain for linear parks. Rather than respecting the law and the citizens that you are hurting, you are rebranding the project to fit your own agenda. This is not transparency, it's not accountability, this is deception. This town government is attempting to take private land without the consent without consent under the pretense of newly fabricated transportation project that was never originally planned as such. If a project cannot stand on its own legal merit, then it should not be moving forward under a different name. So I passed out maps to you guys before the meeting. According to the most recent published town map, the pedestrian connection already exists on Turkey Creek Greenway. There's already road there. There's already sidewalks there. So there's no need for it. So I asked this board, why is the Greenway extension in the CIP budget at all? What is the actual justification for this project when connectivity is already in place? If this project was truly necessary, why is it being disguised under a different name? The lack of transparency surrounding this project fuels public mistrust, not because the people are uninformed, but because they see exactly what is happening. Farragut is an amazing town because of its residents, not because of the overreaching government officials who believe they can act without consequences. This backlash that you guys see on social media isn't just random, it's not personal, it's a direct response to the way this government has chosen to conduct itself. This board must remember that the very top of your organizational chart that you guys all have sits the citizens, not you, not the staff members. And let's see.
I'm sorry, but your time's up. It did not ding, sorry.
Oh, well, yeah, see, this is why 5 minutes needs to be reenacted, because I wasn't done. Thank you, have a nice night.
Our second speaker is Louise Poplin.
Hi, everyone. We're regarding this Sonia Drive, Admiral Road, I was involved with, you all know, I was very much involved with the traffic calming, and in that discussion, the thought of having a sidewalk in that area was brought up to me. It wasn't something I pushed for. The residents who were involved in both Admiral Road and Sonia Drive had expressed an interest in a sidewalk. And then we had the plan come out, and it included a road widening project, which was completely unnecessary and unnecessarily freaked out the Sonia Drive residents because it was taking up a lot of property for no reason. So my understanding is that at least with Sonia Drive, the sidewalk can fit into the town's right-of-way now with some grading. What I encourage this board to do is to please update the design, to remove the road widening portion of it, present the design to Farragut View, both Sonia and Admiral Road, so that they can have an educated understanding of what this project looks like. Not a road widening project, just a sidewalk. So you can have a community forum, they can all come in and take a look at it, understand that they are in the PRZ, and the middle school and the high school, that's the PRZ for middle school and high school, and kids are walking in the streets. So is that a concern to them? Is this something they want to address? From time to time, older neighborhoods accuse this board of not investing in them. This is a $1.375 million project that we were going to go in and retrofit at their request, at some of the residents' requests. Some of them are concerned. If we're going to walk away from that, they should understand exactly what the project looks like, and if they don't want it, that's fine. We can take those funds, perhaps Thornton Heights or Concord Hills or another parent responsibility zone community wants the sidewalks, and we can spend the money there. No one needs to put sidewalks in where the residents, the overwhelming majority of them, don't want it. But it is PRZ, and kids are walking in the street, and that's not safe. And we just saw a child get run down in Thornton Heights, and the solution was park benches at bus stops, which does not make kids safer. Sidewalks for kids to walk on to and from school, and they walk to and from school in that area. So I appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Lawrence Segrest.
Who?
Lawrence Segrest.
All right. So the paper that I handed out, for those of you who don't have one, it's something I got in my mailbox. So it's an offer to buy my house. So thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. And I have an idea for increased revenue for the town of Farragut and a way to maybe help preserve our culture here. So what this is some vulture corporation from who knows where is mailing out things to this community saying, scan this QR code and sell your house. And what are they going to do with it? They're going to rent that house. And so I've had that happen in my neighborhood where a guy died, his family, they're in Florida, they don't give a rip, they sell it to some corporation, and now it's being rented. And if you can imagine five or six cars in the driveway, on the lawn, all that kind of stuff happening. We have an elderly community here. We have lots of young people as well. But as they pass and they have distant relatives that don't care about Farragut, they just want to get the money at the end of it. So we had a battle last year about, not a battle, but we had an intense discussion about what is the impact of having multi-unit homes and especially with the apartments. And I think this board kind of has agreed in principle that we're kind of done with that. So what that does though, rental houses, all that creates people, that brings people in who have no roots. And so when you have roots, I used to be one of those people when I was young. I lived in an apartment. I did not care what a board in Indiana where I was, I didn't care what they were doing. I didn't care if the library was any good. I didn't care about anything, because I knew that 3 or 4 years from now, I'm probably going to get a different job and move. And so that is the mindset that will take our culture down. We need to have people who are in single-family homes, families, putting down roots, staying here, staying engaged, and building this or maintaining the culture that we have. And I fear over time that we're going to be in a different situation. So my ask is, you have my information there on the sheet of paper. One or more aldermen, mayor, anybody, if you want to talk to me about this, how we can do some regulation, maybe some taxes, maybe some fees, whatever. I mean, I could talk with Mr. Hale, and one of you guys could. I think we could come up with something that makes it less pleasant to do business here for the vulture companies. They're still going to do their business, but maybe they can do it somewhere else. So that's my request, and I thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Lawrence.
That concludes our speakers.
Okay. Okay, next, I thank all the speakers, by the way. Next will be Town Administrator's Report.
Mayor, just one thing is tomorrow night, or excuse me, Saturday night is the Shamrock Ball, our annual father-daughter dance here at the community center. Ron and his team have got a great event scheduled for everyone, and we've got the Kiwanis Club of Farragut is also participating and helping us out with that, so we really appreciate that. And that's all I have to report tonight.
Okay. I'm going to look and make sure that I don't see Mr. Hale. He's not here, so he snuck up on me once before. Time is approximately 7:15. Without objection, the February 27th, 2025 Farragut Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting is now adjourned.